Welcome into the Fantasy Flow podcast. We're your hosts, Austin and Andy. Andy, how was your weekend?
It was busy. It was fun. I had a great time. Won some poker, as always.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I was at the Seahawks game this weekend. Easy W. It was perfect weather. We made a whole Seattle day out of it. It was a
Nice.
glorious weekend. Went to a friend's party, and yeah, I feel like we don't really know who the Seahawks are, even though we're 3 weeks into the season. They're 3-0. We know they can beat up on some easy opponents,
Yeah.
but yeah, we really don't know where they are in the hierarchy of the NFL. But we're gonna find out on Monday, aren't we?
Monday Night Football. Yes, we are. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In Detroit, it's always a banger. So I expect nothing less this weekend, this Monday night, I mean.
Absolutely. Yep. Prime time football against a good opponent in their own stadium. It's going to be awesome. I expect it to be high scoring. I expect it to be great for fantasy and for TV and for everyone. And yeah, that will be the litmus test against a good team. Okay,
Yes.
if the Seahawks go to 4-0, they should shoot up into the top five of everyone's power rankings, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I feel like no one really knows what to do with the Seahawks right now. But if they lose to the Lions, then everyone's gonna be like, "Ah, they are who we thought they were. They'll be in the
Right.
mix. They'll be, on that like in the hunt category in December when they throw up that playoff picture graphic. It's like we started off 3-0, and that's great. Like, are we gonna be in the playoffs in the playoff picture in December, or are we gonna be in that in the hunt? We got to beat good teams if we want to actually be in the playoffs. If we want to maybe I don't know
Yeah.
host a playoff game. So matchups like this is what it's all about, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
We got to win against NFC opponents. We've beaten all AFC opponents right now. So, yeah, these are the ones that matter.
That's a great point. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No divisional games yet, so
Yeah.
it's
I'm very, very happy about that.
yeah. So far, so good. We've taken care of
Yeah.
business against lesser opponents, but
Right. Right. Go
we'll
Hawks.
see. Yeah, there were a lot of other games this weekend. Andy, how are you feeling? We had some trends get broken and other trends continue. The Vikings continue to roll. Some bad teams got a win. Holy crap! The Panthers, they switched quarterbacks and it looked like an entirely different
Oh
team.
gosh.
I
Yeah.
think I'll go ahead and start there. This is my now. You tell me if I'm overreacting, underreacting, properly reacting. The Carolina Panthers look like a juggernaut with Andy Dalton, and it was against an above-average Raiders defense. They put up a ton of points. I want to say they scored on almost every drive, a touchdown or a field goal, and it wasn't just Andy Dalton. It was the running game. There, Chuba Hubbard had over 100 rushing yards, and their defense didn't look too bad. Everyone looked like they were playing with just this renewed energy. Um, and our team elimination exercise. I'm worried. Did we already lose our
No.
team exercise? They swap a quarter.
And
They're one game back from the division lead. They're just 1-2.
no. No. I think you're overreacting. I don't think they're a juggernaut. I think they're still a bottom tier team. They will finish with 7 or less wins. They will finish as a top 10 team drafting in the NFL in the
How did they
draft
look
next
that
year.
good?
Did you see their opponent?
Yeah, yeah. They got Max
So,
Crosby and company.
yeah. Also Gardner Minshew on the other side. You know, nobody had a great game on offense for the Raiders. This is this is a consistency test. Okay, if they can prove it against a divisional opponent, if they can prove it back to back weeks, sure, maybe we underestimated Dave Canales, but for
Yeah,
right now, no. I think it's an overreaction. They are definitely not a juggernaut in the NFC or in their own division.
I heard this stat the other day. Andy Dalton is the first quarterback this year to throw for over 300 yards and three touchdowns in the same game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. veteran quarterback. I heard something today that said this guy needs to be playing for backing up Patrick Mahomes. This guy needs to be playing or backing up Jalen Hurts. Why is he backing up Bryce Young? Like, he needs to be backing up a team that's actually going to win and make a run in case something were to happen to that quarterback one.
Yeah, that's a great point because if he takes over for a 3-8 team, like what is he doing at the tail end of his career in those games
Right.
besides just collecting a game check? You know, I appreciate you kind of bringing me back down to earth on that. I was getting worried. I'm like, wow, week one, did we just actually eliminate a playoff team?
No.
I
No.
what I'm holding out hope for our sake, is that the Raiders, they just didn't prepare for Andy Dalton, and Andy Dalton is a totally
Yeah.
different quarterback. And
Yeah.
it was kind of a surprise in the middle of the week. Oh, we're switching quarterback. You know, it's just total bait and
Right.
switch, and it's a totally different offense suddenly with a quarterback with a different skill set. So now that their next opponent has a whole week to prepare for Andy Dalton, we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah, and as one thing that's definitely underrated in the NFL is how the locker room feels about their rest of their team. And so,
Absolutely.
that was just a rejuvenation for the entire Panthers organization. Like, oh my gosh, we finally got a guy that can complete a pass. Yes, let's play harder. Let's do this.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, they're all playing for their own careers, and Dave Canales coaching for
Yeah.
his job.
Right.
Um, yeah, it all came together, and we'll see if they carry that momentum into next week, or if the defense actually puts together a game plan to stop their quarterback. How are you feeling about this NFC after week 3?
Hey, I'm sticking with the same division. I bet you already know the team. It's the New Orleans Saints, and they are going to finish the division in last place. I don't know about Dennis Allen getting fired, but they are finishing at the bottom. The Eagles made them look bad.
Oh my goodness, that is a take. So, first of all, if they finish fourth place, Dennis Allen is getting fired. If they finish below the Panthers, that's
Yes.
that's wild. I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about this one. Uh,
It was my prediction at the beginning. It wasn't looking so hot after week one and week two, but man, they go against a mild opponent like the Eagles, and they just get completely shut down at home. Like, Derek Carr is Derek Carr. I don't know why we're painting this picture that he's this brand new person. He's still Derek Carr.
yeah, that game was close. They didn't get. I mean, their offense got shut down, but their defense still played well, and they were right in it up until the very end.
It was 3-0 entering the fourth quarter. They were not in it at all. There never felt like a moment that they were going to stick with the lead or they were going to potentially win this game.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I think that's maybe some confirmation bias, but I think they're right there in the mix, especially with the Falcons not looking too great.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins looked like he's playing at 75%. I think it still might be good enough to contend in what looks to be just a so-so division again. But yeah, so 10 a.m. Sunday morning, Saints Falcons. So we'll find out. Maybe
Yes, we
we can
will.
make a little side bet or something. You and me, Saints versus Falcons.
Ooh.
That
Ooh,
sounds
I
like
like
something we
that.
might be able to work out.
You know I love my Kirko.
Yeah, no, I think the Falcons have a terrible pass rush, and Derek Carr, when he's given time and space to think,
True.
I think he operates an offense well enough to get the W most of the time. But yeah, no, that's definitely one to keep an eye on because yeah, there was a lot of doubters. You're not alone. A lot of people doubt the Saints,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, they
Mm-hmm.
look bad. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
What is your AFC overreaction?
Well, this was a reaction to Monday night, so a little fresh. Boy, I was pretty confident that the Bills would take care of business against the Jaguars, but they did not. They surpassed my expectations. They absolutely blew them out of the water. Josh Allen has officially become the odds-on MVP favorite. And my overreaction, is it too soon to put the Bills at the top as a team? Are they the Super Bowl favorites? Let me hit you with some stats. They lead the league in points scored, and they lead the league in overall point differential, points scored versus points allowed. They lead the league in touchdowns. They're 3-0. They're in sole possession of first place in their division. And yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are just struggling to win every game. They've won ugly 3 times. The Bills look like the team to beat in the AFC. Do they not?
Oh, definitely. They definitely look like the team to beat in the AFC. Super Bowl favorite, a little bit high. MVP, Josh Allen for MVP, not high. And that is right at
Not
right
high
at
enough.
the
Yeah.
median temperature. Not high enough. Gosh dang it. But yeah, Super Bowl MVP or Super Bowl winners. I'm going to say no. We've seen this. We've seen this with Josh Allen before. We've seen blown out. Remember that one game against Tennessee? It was also a Monday night doubleheader. I think they won like 40-13 or something like that.
Yeah.
We've seen this before with Josh Allen and the Bills. Let's I hope it continues. I love it. I turned the game off at the end of the first quarter because I knew the game was over. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure you weren't
I
alone. Especially there was another game going on that was actually pretty
exactly.
phenomenal. That was kind of
Exactly.
fun how that worked out. As a Lamar fan, I know there's a difference between the regular season and the postseason. Uh,
Mm,
I guess all I'm saying is that if I had Austin's power rankings, the Bills would be number one.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I
Right now,
I don't
they're
think
number
yeah.
one.
I don't think that statement I do not believe is an overreaction. I'm going to double down on this and say that Josh Allen is going to finish where you drafted him. He is going to finish as the
Ooh.
fantasy quarterback 1.
Yeah, no, I love that. That looks like a great pick, as opposed to all of the tight end picks, all of the other early quarterback picks. That Josh Allen's the
Mhm.
only one really returning on value. Maybe Lamar too, if you want to throw him in there. But
Right.
man, yeah, he's such a stud. I thought maybe with them throwing less and running more, but no. That's the
Mm,
change in the
no.
offense has not slowed down his fantasy production.
No.
It's honestly insane.
He's giving Joe Brady a big hug every time he sees him in the building. Like,
Yeah,
thank you, man. Thank you for being here.
that offense is fun to watch. Let's go ahead and switch over and talk about our listener league and give some
Yeah.
updates for the Guillotine League. We lost another brave soul. Our friend Sam has been chopped. Moment of silence for Sam. All right.
R.I.P.
Yep. R.I.P. He lost by a fraction of a point. It was an
Oh my gosh.
incredibly close week. We had 3 teams within 1 point. And if one of
Crazy.
his players had gotten just 4 more yards, he would still be in it. And
Oh my
that
gosh.
is just so brutal. Jalen Hurts let him down. Mike Evans let him
Hmm.
down. But ultimately, he has no one to blame but himself. He
Right.
he left Keenan Allen in his lineup even though he was inactive this week. So that's the
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah. Can't be taking zeros.
No. Yeah, like I said, if he just started a guy who got 1 or 2 points, he would be cruising
Hmm.
through. But
Mm.
another
Sorry,
wrinkle.
Sam.
Yeah, sorry, but we talked about last week. We talked about how we anticipate multiple people bidding over $100 on CMC, even though he may or may not play at all this year. And Sam ended up getting CMC for over $300, and he was not alone. Lots of
Yeah.
people tried to get him, but he was the big winner. He spent over 30% of his budget on CMC and got chopped immediately.
Yikes.
And the funny part is, like the rest of the league, they learned their lesson because when someone gets chopped, that means all their players drop to waivers. So CMC
Right.
available once more. Not a single bid. CMC's still out there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, That's actually crazy now that you say that out loud.
I mean, it's crazy, but then I'm like, do I want to spend money? I would have to drop a player to add,
Yeah,
and I already have Puka on my IR, so
right.
and now CMC's going to Germany to get some doctors to look.
I'm doing it right now. I
Oh
got my
yeah?
spot open. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I have my IR spot open. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Why not? I can
Okay.
just drop them. I'm doing it right now, live.
Well, okay. I did put a bid in today, so
Okay, okay.
I'm not gonna tell you how much money I put down, but
I put in $0, so there you go. You know my bid.
I don't think you'll get them. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean that just speaks exact volumes to what we think of that
right, right. You're
situation.
not you're not willing to put any money
No,
into it.
I'm not.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't either, but I don't know. Maybe you get a
it's
positive update. His value is going to go up. If we're talking just trade value, the closer we get to a
yeah.
potential return, maybe throw him into a trade package or something. It's just
Gosh,
wild that he's
what
still
is
out
going?
there. No one put
What
even
is
even a
going
$0
on?
bid. Yeah,
What is going on with
honestly,
that
crazy.
dude? That is just yeah. That has to be the biggest news of the whole NFL season right now.
Yeah, and the 49ers are struggling.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not Jordan Mason's fault, but I mean, come on, he would
yeah.
he would help the offense a ton.
Oh my gosh, he would be he's definitely worth a win in no matter what team he's on. And especially on the 49ers, he is definitely worth at least one a win.
Yeah.
So yeah, that has to be the biggest news of it all.
Speaking of teams taking L's, let's pivot to our exercise where we eliminate an NFL team from the playoffs every week. Week 1, we eliminated the Carolina Panthers. Okay. They got into the win column this week. I'm a little nervous. We talked about it. Week 2, we eliminated the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
They got in the win column this week. Looked pretty decent, and
Mm-hmm.
they play Thursday night at home. Hopefully, the Cowboys can take care of
Ooh.
business there.
Yep.
Week 3, Andy, we have a few 0-3 teams to choose from if we wanted to choose a team yet to even get a win. But there's a
Sure.
lot of other options too. Other teams that seem like they're down for the count. I'm talking about the Patriots. I'm talking about,
The Raiders.
oh, yeah, you bring them up every week, and this week was especially bad. Boy, I'll just throw this thought out there, and then I'll let you share your thoughts. We've eliminated
Okay.
2 NFC teams.
Mm-hmm.
There's 7 playoff spots on either side, so I feel like we should probably go to the AFC and
I
eliminate a
agree.
team over there, just to give ourselves the most options moving forward. Fortunately, all 3 0-3 teams are on that side, as are the other 2 teams we just mentioned.
Yeah, I'll highlight that point for a second. The three teams you're mentioning are the Tennessee Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Tennessee and Jacksonville both play in the AFC South, and that division is trash. I think Houston's going to win that division is my guess right now. They look vulnerable as well. I That whole division is up for grabs. I don't feel comfortable picking one of those two teams right now, because that whole division is trash. And one
Texans
team
got
wins.
absolutely shellacked by the Vikings.
Exactly. One team wins, and they're a game behind, or they're on top of the world over there. So
Yeah.
I'm
God
gonna hold
forbid
off.
something happens to Stroud. It's just
Right.
it's
Right.
a non-competitive division, and the worst team I think is the Titans. They get to play
Yes.
the Dolphins this coming week,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
whoever they're throwing out at quarterback. So the Titans could definitely get in the win column this week.
Exactly.
And then obviously
Uh
we're not picking the Bengals, even though they're 0-3. There's just no
no,
way.
I'm not. I'm not picking the Bengals.
No.
So I'm gonna I know I bring up the Raiders every week, but I'm actually gonna lean towards the team that we kind of forgot about this week is the Patriots. They got smoked by the Jets this week. That was a divisional game, and it was on Thursday night. We kind of forgot about it. I'm gonna go with my main vote. My number one vote is the Patriots.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. We just heaped a bunch of praise onto the Bills, and they're in the same division. So the Patriots have no chance to win their division. There's 3 wild card spots to hand out, and I think the Jets are ahead of them. We can point to some other teams talking about Ravens, talking about the Chargers have a winning record right now. I don't know.
Chargers. Like you say every week, look at how Bo Nix looked. I mean, he finally put it together, got a win,
Yeah.
ran in a touchdown. I mean, he like I've been skeptical about every time you've been saying that, but there it happened right in front of my eyes. I go, well, Grandin was talking about something, and there it is. So I feel comfortable eliminating the Patriots.
As do I. Yeah, no, that was a lot easier than I thought it'd be. I thought I'd have to go to bat for the Raiders again.
The tribe has spoken.
Yeah, we'll give them another week, but they're next in line. I swear,
Dude. Yeah, honestly, I mean, we got our eye out on these. If some of these 0-3 teams go to 0-4, they're definitely in the conversation.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, the Raiders, their next game, I'm pulling it up right now. They're at home against the Browns. They're actually favored. So if
Which
the
is
Raiders
crazy.
drop that, then okay.
I don't know what Vegas is thinking lately. They can't figure it out. I mean, they're probably scratching their own heads at this point. Some of these lines are just. We'll get to it, but
We'll
some
get
of these
to it.
lines
Yeah,
are just
exactly.
ridiculous.
Exactly. So, all right, New England Patriots, your 2024 season is over, just like you all thought it was. All right, we are flipping the page to next week, week 4. This is the last week of September football. The season is just cruising along, and
Don't
we
say
have.
that. Oh.
I know it's going fast, huh?
Oh.
I broke out my flannel for the first time. This season.
I know.
Yeah, no, I'm
know,
getting
you're already
in
ready.
the mood. I love fall, and yeah, I was like, wait, whoa, September is almost over. That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
But we got some epic games in prime time
Yes.
this week. We're talking Sunday
Yes.
night, Buffalo Bills going to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore somehow favored. Like I said, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We have our
okay.
4-pack of our Fantasy Flow 4-pack of game picks against the spread, which we happened to go 4-0 last week. So you should probably stay tuned for that at the end of the episode.
Yes.
We're going to provide you with another 4 picks. Ravens, Bills. I think the Ravens have as good of a chance to knock off the Bills as any team. Going back to what you said last week about those undefeated teams and their difficult schedules. What do you see for this game? What are you looking forward to? How do you feel like it's going to go?
I'm looking forward to seeing Josh Allen. We just spoke about how that's such a fun offense to watch, and man, like Josh Allen versus Lamar, 2 quarterbacks that have just gone through waves of controversy in their own stories, in their own life, and with their football teams. And it'd just be cool to see who comes out on top. I'm excited. Derrick Henry, James Cook, a bunch of no-name receivers for the Bills, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews gonna do nothing again.
Oh my God! There's a lot of clashing storylines for fantasy football.
Yeah,
this game's absolutely wild. None of those Bills receivers are like great fantasy options, but they're all like relevant because Josh Allen, because the offense.
Exactly.
It's going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Back to what you were saying. I'm old enough to remember when people were telling Lamar he's not a quarterback. With the combine and everything, they're like, oh, this guy's not a quarterback. He needs to switch positions. Mm-hmm. I'm old enough to remember when Josh Allen sucked, when he looked like a total bust, and people were telling him that he's not the franchise quarterback. and
Right.
they both totally flipped it around. These are the two best rushing quarterbacks in the league since Cam Newton, and
Right.
it's just going to be an absolute blast for anyone who likes football or fantasy or just amazing television.
Bills defense is better than we thought. The Ravens defense is still really good. Not as good as maybe we thought. So yeah, I think it'll be a good battle. I really hope it will be a good battle.
Yeah, yeah. The Ravens defense is better at stopping the run than they are the pass, which is interesting because the Bills love to run. So are they going to be forced to actually throw the ball down the field? Um, I think that's what I anticipate the Ravens doing
Right.
is just loading the box and forcing them to throw. But Josh Allen is amazing at throwing, so
Yeah.
it's pick your poison when it comes to him. That's why
Pick your
he's the
poison.
MVP
Yeah.
favorite.
Left or right, this or that.
Monday Night Football. We already talked a little bit about it, but Seahawks Lions. This is the Seahawks' first NFC opponent. And this game is huge for the Lions as well. Talk about it from their perspective a little bit, because we talked about some divisions that are really bad, some divisions totally up in the air. The Lions division is competitive as heck. It's probably the best division in football right now. I know it is based on number of wins, because you have the Vikings, the Packers are suddenly
Yeah.
winning games even without Jordan Love, and the Lions are still holding it down. So they have three incredible teams, and it is not guaranteed that the Lions win this division. They really need to keep the pedal on the gas. Every week, the Vikings seem to just grow stronger.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with Sam Darnold, but he's a totally different kid now that he's there in Minnesota. Um, I don't think the Lions are the kind of team who is looking over their shoulder. They're totally well coached, and I anticipate that they are going to bring their A game against the Seahawks. But they need
Yeah.
this, is what I'm trying
Yeah,
to
they
say.
do. They do. Both teams need it a lot, but definitely the Lions more than the Seahawks. Yeah, Seahawks need it because they want to continue to show that they deserve to be in the conversation as one of the best teams in the NFL. Lions, they need it to keep up with Minnesota, as you just said, keep up with their own division mates. And it's an NFC game, so this game really matters when it comes to standings and conference wins. And
Playoff
losses.
implications, tiebreaker.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, it is.
It's in Detroit. I mean, it is going to get loud. Jared Goff is going to be under pressure the whole time. And Geno Smith to DK Metcalf. I mean, those are fireworks just waiting to happen.
Yes, yes, it's going to be strength on strength. The Seahawks pass rush. We don't really talk about the Seahawks in terms of having a great pass rush because no one outside of Seattle knows anyone's name on that line.
Right.
But
Right.
they're putting up numbers, and that is total strength on strength matchup. The Seahawks pass rush versus the Lions offensive line. So something's got to
Correct.
give there.
Yeah.
I think whoever wins that line of scrimmage battle is going to win the game. And I'm sure we'll talk about it a bunch next week. It'll lead the show like the
Sure,
Seahawks always
sure.
do. It'll be
Yep.
fresh on our minds because it's Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Now we're going to talk about some guys that we would like to flow into our lineup and some guys that we want to flow out of our lineup. We're going to share some sits and starts. Each one of us is going to give you 3 players to put into your lineup and 3 players to take out. Hopefully this can help you with your own predicament, but I'm going to lead it off here. I'm going to give you some 3 players that you should flow into your lineup. I'm going to start with Geno Smith, just talking about the Seahawks game and how much they're probably going to have to pass the ball. Pass into DK Metcalf, JSN, maybe get a little Noah Fant in there. Maybe Kenneth Walker comes back. Who knows? But I think Geno Smith is a slam dunk start flowing into your lineup this week.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. The Lions secondary is very young. They got a lot of rookies out there. When the Lions win games, that's just not how they win games. Is with their pass defense. You know, they're biting your kneecaps at the line of scrimmage. And we have, I say we, the Seahawks have the weapons to exploit that weakness in the Lions team. I think Geno, in a dome. That's a great pick. Absolutely.
What about you? What's one of your flow-in players?
Yeah, I didn't have a quarterback, but I'm really excited personally to start Zach Moss this week. He's going up against the Carolina Panthers. This is a desperate Bengals team going up against a vulnerable Panthers team. They're riding high. I think they might come crashing down. Either way, both of these teams' defenses have been among the worst in the league. This is going to be a total points fest, and I honestly anticipate the Bengals to have their way in this one. Could be a positive game script. Even if it's not, it's going to be high scoring and competitive, and yeah, I'm just really excited about Zach Moss. I know Chase Brown is getting involved, but Zach Moss is still the guy. He looks great.
Yeah.
If you're even considering him, this is our stamp of approval to throw him in your lineup.
Sure.
I like him as like an RB2 this week.
Who did they give the ball to on the goal line? That's my question. The answer is Zach Moss. So
Yeah.
I think he takes the edge when it comes to the whole Chase Brown conversation.
And the Commanders' defense is bad, but you have to love what you saw from the Bengals' offense with T. Higgins coming back.
Yep.
Just that rising tide lifts all boats there. So I'm really excited about the Bengals, but Zach Moss specifically.
I'm going to flow in Tony Pollard this week. I think he's coming back off of a little minor injury. He plays Miami on the other Monday night game, Tennessee versus Miami, and
Yeah, the
Miami
one no
just
one's going to
looks-
watch.
Yeah, the one no one's going to watch. So exactly, you just put him in your lineup, and you don't even have to watch the game because he is just going to ride that flow, baby.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Neither one of those teams is going to pass the ball hardly at all.
Right.
I think they're going
Yeah.
to keep it on the
Yep.
ground. And it's just
Yeah.
going to be just try and drain the clock, just try and retain possession. And Pollard's looked pretty good this year. And you actually made a trade for him in one of our leagues, did you not?
Yeah, in the listener league, I traded away Tank Dell and Jerome Ford for Tony Pollard.
Man, yeah. Ford is a little banged up. I do like him this week, and Tank Dell just hasn't really been putting up the numbers at all. So yeah, if you continue to get what you've gotten from Pollard, then I think that's a good move.
Exactly.
There were so many split backfields that both of the running backs fell in the draft because we didn't know who it's going to be, right? Like Zach Moss, Chase Brown, you think about the Broncos and all their running backs, and the Titans running backs totally fell into that because we weren't sure. We thought it would probably be like a 50-50 split, and that's one where it's just been really obvious. Nope, it wasn't a 50-50 split. It was this guy, not that guy.
Yeah.
So, no, I think that's a great call. My guy that I am flowing straight into my lineup is George Pickens. He's going up against the Colts, and this is just a little confidence booster. And I mean, you can probably already tell, but like we're trying to pick guys who are kind of on the cusp of being startable or not.
Right.
We're not picking any stars. We're not picking any scrubs. George Pickens, I think he is a star. He's on a team that just loves to run the ball and play some defense. But I think the Colts defense is exploitable. I think this is a get right game for Justin Fields, and I think he's just been kind of given a raw deal. But he's a great player, and he's the primary target. I mean, every game he's leading the team in targets. The Colts secondary is bad, and I think it's wheels up for George Pickens. And Najee is limited in practice right now, so just that alone could lead to more passes, and maybe specifically more passes to George Pickens.
Think about it this way. Arthur Smith has had all offseason to predict that Russell Wilson is going to be his quarterback. And then all of a sudden, a week before the season, Russ says, nope, I'm hurt, and I'm not going to be able to play. So, yes, the Pittsburgh offense has been dreadful to watch, and for fantasy purposes, not that great, not that beneficial. Arthur Smith, he's just getting in his rhythm. He's like, okay, now I know Justin Fields is my guy. I'm going to tailor the offense towards him. I definitely see an increase of passing from Justin Fields, and especially to George Pickens.
We'll talk about this game a little more later, but
Okay.
I got a crazy stat for you. The undefeated Steelers, have only scored 3 touchdowns on the season.
That's dreadful.
I think they have a good chance to double that this coming week.
Yeah, that is. That's
Isn't that gross?
that's so gross.
Yeah. Who's your other player you're flowing into your
Yeah,
lineup?
my last player I'm gonna flow right on in is Shakira. I'm going with Shakir with the Bills. Definitely the primary target of Josh Allen. We've been raving about the Bills this whole episode, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I don't need to say much more.
Yeah, makes
Primary
makes
target,
total sense. Yep.
yeah, Josh Allen. Fun team to watch. I don't see why not.
Yeah, yeah. If you're out there and you got Shakir on your bench, don't be afraid of the Ravens matchup, the scary Ravens defense. Okay, their secondary is also young, and that is kind of the weakness of the team. Put them in your lineup. Don't even think about it. Unless
Right.
you're in just a tiny league and you're loaded at wide receiver. I imagine in most leagues you've got to start Khalil Shakir.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
The last player that is in the flow for me, he absolutely popped off last week. I'm talking about Dallas Goedert, tight end for the Eagles. He will not repeat that performance ever for the rest of his career. He had
No, he will not.
170 yards.
Oh my
Absolutely
gosh.
nuts. But I think you have to start him this week. And it's not just point chasing. I'll tell you why. A.J. Brown's probably going to miss another week.
Hmm.
Devonta Smith got a concussion in last week's game. I think he lost his helmet and then got hit like without his helmet.
Oh,
It was something crazy
poor
like
guy.
that. So he's gonna miss this week, I expect. And they lost their third wide receiver, Britton Covey. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, so first option, second option, third option, all gone. He's basically all alone. So I expect him to get plenty of volume from Hurts, and in a world where there are no tight ends, Dallas Goedert he has to be started in every league.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great one. What do you mean he's all alone out there? They got Jawan Johnson. Remember they traded for him?
They have not looked that guy's way once this season.
I know. It's funny. It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, they went out of their way to trade for him, and they just,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
they
Well,
forgot.
this
I
is
don't
why
know.
you have him, I guess, is because when your top two receivers go out, you need somebody else to fill in the spot. So,
Look, I'm not
yeah.
brave enough to name him as one of my players. That's like my start of the week. But if
No,
you're in a
no,
deeper league, now or
no.
never.
Goddard.
So.
Goddard is great. I think it's going to be all Saquon, and whenever they do pass the ball, they're going to look for big 88, I think is his number. So, yeah, big 88.
He's been in the league for 10 years and no one knows.
You can say that again.
No one outside of Philadelphia knows what number he wears. That's hilarious.
I hope I got it wrong.
Oh my goodness. Do you have any give me a player that you're just totally out on. A player who's
Oh, yeah.
out of the flow. He's not flowing this week.
Speaking about tight ends, Mark Andrews. Flow him out of here. Flush him down the toilet, dude. This guy is poop. Why do they have him on his team? I wouldn't be surprised if teams call up the Ravens and say, "Yeah, I'll give you a seventh rounder for this guy that you never use." Gosh,
Guy
like,
stinks.
yeah, I'm done with the whole ball. I picked up so much Isaiah Likely after that first
Oh,
week,
no.
and he has stayed in my lineup, and everything has just gone
he's killed
downhill
me.
after that Chiefs game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm out on the Ravens tight ends. Get him, flow him out, get him out of here.
It is total just shenanigans what the Ravens are doing. And John Harbaugh, there are some crazy, under the hood numbers of how much, what's his snap count, how many routes he's running, and he came out and said he's like, hey, look, I'm getting a lot of questions about Mark Andrews. I just got to tell y'all, it's gonna be week to week, depending on our game plan, depending on the defense.
Right.
So he's basically telling you can't rely on Mark Andrews. So yeah,
No,
absolutely
exactly.
bench him, and next time he goes off, try to trade him. That's
Yep. That's great advice. What about you?
yeah. I'm gonna go quarterback, and I have Anthony Richardson as my out of the flow quarterback for this week. We
My
already talked
guy.
about that game a little bit, and we're going to talk about it some more in a little bit. He is a must bench this week. He is the league's most inaccurate quarterback, and he's going up against the league's #1 defense in like every metric. It is a nightmare matchup. And week 1 was incredible, and we just haven't seen that the last 2 weeks. He's not doing Anthony Richardson type things. You know, he's averaging like 4 yards a carry when a dynamic, dual threat quarterback should be averaging like 7 or 8. So it's totally uncharacteristic what we've seen of him the last 2 weeks, and I have absolutely no reason to expect that he'll have any success this week against the Steelers.
Sure, I agree. I'm scared. Anytime one of my players goes up against the Steelers, I'm scared.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm gonna stick on this quarterback trend. I'm kind of just following your footsteps here. I'm going to the other AR number 8, Aaron Rodgers. I'm not putting him in my lineup this week. He's going against Denver. It's in New York, and I think it's just going to be. I think we've seen enough of Braden Allen. I think we've seen enough of Breece Hall, and yeah, they're both really good. So let's just keep on getting them the ball and let them win the game for us. I don't think this is a game that they're going to need Aaron Rodgers to come save the day or put up points. Sure, he might throw for a couple times, but I think the Jets defense is going to handle Bo Nix and the Denver offense, and then the Jets offense is just going to be run through Breece Hall and Braden Allen.
I totally agree. The Broncos defense is super interesting because I think they're top 3 in the league when it comes to pass rush win rate. They have just a great pass rush. They have one amazing cornerback. I'm worried about Garrett Wilson. I thought about him in this exercise.
That's a good point.
But yeah, their linebackers, woof. They had 2 stud inside linebackers. They lost one to free agency. They brought another one in, and they were very happy. And then one of them done for the year before week 1. So they have Cody Barton. Cody Barton's coming in, and he's been a backup his whole career. He's played a lot due to injury, but he's being paid like a backup, and he plays like a backup. And then it was just announced earlier today that their other inside linebacker, Alex Singleton, is out for the year. So they're having to go to the league's waiver wire to sign inside linebackers. So wheels up for both of the Jets running backs. I say all that to say I think you're absolutely right. This is a total just ground game, bad game script. I don't think Aaron Rodgers will even need to do too much.
No.
Yeah. My other player that I'm flowing out of my lineup, and this is kind of a hot take, okay? Went a little bold here. I can understand if you cannot afford to bench this guy, but I'm talking about Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do it all running back. Look, they're playing the Houston Texans. This is a good defense. AFC contender. Sounds similar to last week when they played the Bills. And, you think he's a do-it-all running back, so you can't be game scripted out, but he did not produce. I think he scored a touchdown, and he finished with 12 PPR points. Like, you cannot trust this guy.
Awful.
And Tank Bigsby is working his way back from injury. So I think his snap count's just going to keep going up. And I don't expect ETN or really any Jaguars to have a lot of fantasy success against the Texans this week.
I'm going to push back a little bit. I think you have to keep ETN. He is the best. It's like a Saquon on New York. He is the best player on that team.
It depends on your other options. Like I said, if
it does.
You're in a 10-team league or a 12-team league where you started running back heavy. If you can find a way to get him out of your starting lineup, I think you're doing yourself a favor. But yeah, he's a volume play, so I get it.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and I don't know. Something has to go. Something has to change for the Jaguars, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's this week against the Texans that something does break.
That they turn it around.
I don't know if they turn it around and win the game, but I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive than what we're expecting. I think they're going to figure something out this week and make an adjustment to where it allows them to actually be competitive in the game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of Christian Kirk, so I hope you're right.
Yeah. But I still wouldn't start. I totally hear you. I still wouldn't start any Jaguar player. I got to see it to believe it, baby.
Yeah.
Speaking
No,
of
that's good.
Yeah, speaking about see it to believe it, man, we have seen this guy just run through people, catch the ball. I'm talking about Zach Sharba. Oh my, oh my goodness,
He
this
looked
guy
great
is
last
good.
week.
He does everything. You know who is also really good against the run, and particularly the running backs? The Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
I am flowing Charbonnet out. I don't think Walker comes back, but he might. I'm just staying away from the Seahawks backfield. You already know I'm flowing in Geno. It's going to be a pass-heavy game. I'm worried about. I mean, James Conner last week did nothing against that Detroit front.
Yeah.
He just got stood up wall after wall after wall.
Yeah, I think you could do a lot better than Zach Charbonnet. And then if Kenneth Walker does come back, don't play Kenneth Walker either. I would keep him on your bench because they probably won't give him all the work his first game back, and it's a super tough matchup. So, yeah, I think that's a great call. And my last player that I'm flowing out of my lineup, this is another hot take, okay? If you thought ETN was too hot, get ready. I'm talking about Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers.
Ooh.
Look, they're all gone, right? CMC's gone, Debo's gone, Kittle's gone. And what does he do? What was it, like 4 for 37 or something?
He does nothing.
It was so mid, and I'm so pissed. I don't even have any. I'm in 7 leagues, and I don't have any Brandon Ayuk, and I'm pissed that happened. How it happened. That is just insane. Juwan Jennings got everything. Maybe they were doubling Ayuk. I don't know. It doesn't matter because this week it's going to be the same story, and they're going up against the New England Patriots and Christian Gonzalez, and I don't.
Another Juwan Jennings game.
Maybe this is out of spite, but I just want to bench Brandon Ayuk. I'm not willing to get hurt again because it was just such a recipe for success last week, and it did not happen. I have no reason to think that it's going to happen this week against the Patriots.
He looks like a guy that hasn't participated in any team drills all off season.
Mm-hmm.
And Juwan Jennings looks like a guy that has participated in team drills all off season.
He was phenomenal. And they're talking about they might get George Kittle back this week, which would really help the offense, but that's also another receiver who's not Brandon Ayuk.
Sure. Yep, I agree. I don't think this is a hot take. I think you got to wait and see with Ayuk. There's so much talent there, and he's on one of the best offenses in the league. You got to bench it until you see it.
I'm not taking a victory lap because it's just been a slow start, okay? But I said in the offseason, Brandon Ayuk is a guy who benefits from being surrounded by Pro Bowlers who draw double teams, and he is crafty enough and quick enough to take advantage of that in the best offense in football. And when all those guys are gone, what do? Can you carry this team? Can you be our number one? I feel like he answered that last week. But
yep, I agree. In a game they should have won.
Yeah, they totally blew it. That was mind blowing. Very fortunate for the Seahawks. Now we have a 2-game lead on the rest of the division.
Whoop, whoop.
Just got to throw that in there because I feel like it's going away. Hey, just wanted to jump in here real quick to remind you all about our partnership with BETSTAMP. If you're ready to take your sports betting to the next level and you want to support our show, we highly recommend signing up for your next sportsbook through the show's Signup Expert link in the description. This will allow you to take advantage of many new user offers available. And don't forget to bet responsibly by tracking all of your bets and getting yourself the best odds through the BetStamp app. Back to the show! Speaking of games, wins and losses, we're gonna go to our Fantasy Flow 4-pack of game picks against the spread. Andy, hit me with your first game pick. Who you got this week?
I am going to go with the Cleveland Browns. I'm picking an underdog. They are +2 against the Raiders.
Okay.
They are going to Vegas, so yeah, it's a long flight. Who cares? I don't know why the Raiders are favored in this game. It makes no sense. Vegas is they're like the kid at the carnival game, just pew pew pew. They're just shooting their shot anywhere they can, and it's not working out for them. So I'm going against Vegas. I'm picking you, Cleveland Browns, to win or to cover the spread +2 against the Raiders.
Yeah, you're just a big Deshaun Watson guy, huh? You just,
Yeah,
So
definitely.
just...
No, I'm not. No. But I am a Kevin Stefanski. I am an Amari Cooper fan. I am and kind of was maybe a little bit Jerome Ford fan. So, yeah, those guys are going to do work. And the Raiders, good luck. Good luck.
I have no idea what to make of the Raiders because I was high on them going into the year, and then they took some L's. I was down, and then one of my buddies, he told me he guaranteed that they would beat the Ravens. And I was like,
Wow.
Okay, dude. And then they did. And I was like, oh my God.
What a pick.
Yeah.
What a pick.
I mean, he's a total homer, but credit where credit
Yeah.
is due. And then
Right.
then they give the Panthers their first win of the season, and I have no idea what to make of this team. I still somehow am riding with the Raiders. They are by no means one of my picks in our Fantasy 4-pack, but I do have them winning this game. Just because, not because of anything the Raiders are doing, but the Browns look so bad. I mean, you talk about the ineptitude of the Raiders. You can't without bringing up the ineptitude of the Browns. And they just continue to find new ways to disappoint all of us, seems like. All right, my first pick, I'm taking the Steelers against the Colts. The Steelers are 2-point favorites, so they got to clear that bar, win by at least a field goal. And like I said, this is the league's most inaccurate quarterback going up against the league's #1 defense. It seems like the betting public just doesn't realize how good this Steelers team is. Justin Fields hasn't done much. He hasn't been asked to do much. He's been a great game manager, has not made terrible decisions. He's not out here throwing Will Levis balls. He's not losing a fumble every game. He is just holding his own. And just 2 points, that's just not enough. I think they'll clear that bar with ease. Talk about the Colts side of it. The Colts got a W last week, finally. It was just because Caleb Williams was terrible and they rode Jonathan Taylor. But I don't think they'll be able to ride Jonathan Taylor against the Steelers defense.
No. I'm all for this. I think I'm picking the Steelers on the spread until we see otherwise. I mean, this is a team that is just all in uniform, all in sync. They know what they're doing, and I think Vegas is slowly catching on. I'm going to go with another underdog. Talked about this team the whole episode, the Buffalo Bills. I don't know how they're not favored. It's an undefeated Buffalo Bills going into Baltimore that they just won their first game. That was crazy when I was looking at the spreads that Buffalo's not favored here.
Yeah, you're getting 2.5 points. So
yeah,
and
2.5 plus 2.5, easy pick for me.
Yep. No, I was going to pick the Bills plus 2.5, but I saw that you would pick them, and I said, okay, no problem, I'll pivot. But I'm partial to the Ravens, so I hope we're wrong, but I just don't see it. They're on an absolute tear. The Bills are.
Sure.
I had this thought. I wrote it down. The Ravens look like an NBA super team, but in like November when they're still trying to figure out how to play with each other. It's like.
Yep, that's a good point. I like that analogy.
Derrick Henry's brand new. Most of the offensive line is brand new, and they just feel like they're loaded with talent, and they just haven't put it all together yet. So I anticipate them to put that together with time, but not in time for Sunday night.
What's your final pick of the 4-pack?
All right, this is the first time since we've done the Fantasy Flow 4-pack that I'm actually taking an underdog. I am going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home plus 2.5 points against the Philadelphia Eagles. I already talked about how the Eagles are missing their number 1, number 2, and number 3 wide receiver options. So I think that's just really going to limit them. And the Bucs, yes, they got embarrassed last week by the Broncos. I think a team like that, led by Baker Mayfield, he already has a chip on his shoulder. That chip's just going to get even bigger. I think they're going to be pissed off. They're at home, and I think that they're going to take care of business. If I was betting on this game through the BETSTAMP, through you can use our link and you can bet on this game. If I was to do that, I would just bet on them to win outright, because what's 2.5 really getting you? Just take Bucs money line. And, some of you may remember, but this game's already happened this year. The Bucs played the Eagles back in January of last year's playoffs, and the Bucs won by 23.
Wow. You're right. Unrevenge game.
It could be a revenge game for the Eagles, but they're missing A.J. Brown, they're missing Devontae Smith, and they're missing Britton Covey. So, I don't know why this game isn't at least a pick'em. That's just how I feel about it. I can tell you have some different thoughts, Andy. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, no, you bring up some valid points that even though we did just talk about them, I failed to wrap around and comprehend. So, no, I think you bring up some good points. I think the Eagles are just so good, but yeah, I could see this. It's making more sense the more I'm thinking about it. Baker, chip on his shoulder. It's a spicy one. I like it.
I wish I could have picked the Bills, but I'm pivoting to the Bucs here. And look, the Bucs, they had an ugly loss last week. Baker Mayfield got sacked 7 times. And I kind of went down a weird rabbit hole here earlier today. Can I share this with you?
Yeah.
So far this season, every team that's gotten more than 5 sacks in a game has won that game. It's happened 8 times, and every time that team's come out victorious. The average margin of victory in those 8 games was 14 points. So these are just blowouts when you get sacked more than 5 times. And Baker Mayfield, like I said, got sacked 7 times last week. He just didn't have a shot. The Broncos' pass rush is elite so far this year. And yeah, I think the Eagles are going to be one-dimensional on offense, and on defense, I don't think they really have the dogs.
Yeah. It depends on the Tampa Bay defensive players and who's going to be healthy and who's going to be out for that game. They were missing a lot on that Denver game last week, so
that's true.
Yeah, I'm curious. They should get healthy. They should be playing all those key players on their defense. So yeah, and Todd Bowles does not like to lose back-to-back games. So I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Hopefully Winfield Jr. will be back, but I stand by my pick whether or not he's back. All right, man. Well, I think that's all we have. Did you have any parting thoughts?
No. Go Hawks, baby.
All right. Go Hawks. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Thanks a ton for making it to the end of the episode. You're a real one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That's a free, easy way to support the show, and it really helps us out. And leave us your comments down below if you're on YouTube, or send in your questions at thefantasyflowpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time.